second race of the weekend in round 2 of the 2024 Euroformula Open Championship about to get underway. It's the first of our 2 top 6 reverse grid races. This one taken from the results of our earlier race. It is another tour of the 4.574 kilometer Hockenheim ring, our first visit to this German circuit since 2019. Earlier on we got very close to the lap record set by Yuki Tsunoda in that last encounter, and we will try to have another crack at it in this afternoon's race, where conditions have cooled down ever so slightly. A bit more shade. Let's take a look back at what happened this morning. It was not a good getaway at all for pole sitter Brad Benavides. He was immediately jumped off the line by Levente Revesh on the front row of the grid, and Francesco Simonazzi making his way through as well. Benavides did survive in third and immediately set about challenging for second place on Simonazzi. The pace that Benavides was supplying in that first race was absolutely phenomenal and absolutely unmatched as well. Then this move for the lead on Levente Revesh inside of 10.7, outside of turn 8, and the Floridian did not look back and set about creating a gap for his second ever victory in the Euroformula Open Championship, his second in 2 rounds. Simonazzi was second across the line, but had a lot of track limits infringements, and that gave a first podium of the season to Levente Revesh and Jakob Bergmeister. But that penalty does mean that Simonazzi actually starts on reverse grid pole for this one. So slight quirk of the regulations there. Here's how they line up. Francesco Simonazzi on reverse grid pole ahead of Fifo Barrichello, the rookie driver. Then Michael Shin on his debut in the Euroformula Open Championship from third. Jakob Bergmeister after his first podium of the season in fourth. Again, Levente Revesh, first podium of the season for him in 5th position. And then Brad Benavides in 6th position. Paolo Brajnik is on the formation lap. We saw his car didn't really get going in race number 1, so hopefully all is well now aboard that NV racing car. Chris Stevens and Ewan Dunlop in the commentary box, and there we see Ewan. Track temperature still 39 degrees out there.
Yeah, it was as high as 45 a couple of hours ago. The air temperature though staying the same, between 25 since about 11 o'clock this morning. Now 2 stories are going to be closely following in this one. Benavides, so good this morning, and the great thing about it, as you just mentioned in the Euroformula, starting from the back now, other than Brajnik, who didn't get started. So can he make his way with that power through the pack? And Barrichello, his best ever finish is at 4th place. He's starting in second, reverse grid. How long, and can he hold on that top 3 spot for?
Brad Benavides has been the form man all weekend, fastest in both free practice sessions on Friday. Pole position this morning, and then even though he had to work from 3rd position after a bad start, you could call that a fairly dominant win in the end. Such was his pace advantage. But now Francesco Simonazzi starting from reverse grid pole, and armed now with 4 new sets of Pirelli, 4 Pirelli tyres, brand spanking new. He was the only car running all new old tyres in that previous race, and had a differential issue in race number 1 that was making the back of his car a little looser than he would have ideally liked. And so maybe that accounts for why he ended up incurring so many track limits penalties. But fresh rubber aboard that BVM racing car now. How is that going to affect things? Green flag at the back, engine notes rise, and once again it is lights out in Hockenheim. Good start made by Simonazzi. Not a great launch there for Fifo Barrichello as Jakob Bergmeister draws up alongside, goes a long way round at turn 1, and Bergmeister into second position. Michael Shin running very, very wide there on the exit of turn 1, and having to take to the grass there, trying to get around Fifo Barrichello side by side for 3rd place. And the South Korean driver getting all the way around the outside. That'll give him the line into the left-hander. Still very close between the 2 teammates. They're going to run side by side here down the Parabolica. Barrichello will have the inside line by the time they get down to the big stop at the hairpin for the first time of asking. But here comes Brad Benavides as well now, trying to make it 3 wide coming down there. Benavides could make it 2 in 1. No, has to bail out the last possible second. And Michael Shin once again gets shown the runoff area, and Barrichello holds on to 3rd place.
So Benavidez already making his way through the pack. Brezhnik did get away this time a little bit slowly, maybe tentative, but he is there at the back of the pack, so he is moving in our second Euroformula race of the day. They're off the track. Barrichello goes wide onto the gravel, just about gets it back on the track, but starting in second, he's already going to be pushed down towards that 5th place. Not the way he wanted to start, but leading Simonazzi. Can he be caught? Fresh tyres, fresh car too, with that differential issue hopefully sorted. He is going to be the man to beat this afternoon.
Free ticket for Brad Benavidez through into 3rd place as Michael Shin took a lunge up the inside into turn number 8, ran both himself and Barrichello out wide. Revesh ended up picking up a spot in that as well, up into 5th place. And now looking at the back of the debutant for this weekend. But there we see Simonazzi leads at the end of the first lap by 0.7 of a second to Jakob Bergmeister. Both of those cars we know are running brand spanking new tyres, because Bergmeister managed to save a set in qualifying by not doing the first run in the opening stages of qualifying. So he's got brand new tyres for each of these races. But we know that Benavidez at some point is going to have to run an old set of tyres. But we'll see if that is in this race or in the next one. And unsurprisingly, Shin and Barrichello under investigation for forcing another driver off the track. Now that could be either at turn 6 or at turn 8. Revesh now looking down the inside of Michael Shin for 4th position into the hairpin, and the Hungarian makes his way through. Barrichello's going to try and take advantage of that as well, but has to tap back in behind.
So Simonazzi leading over Bergmeister, Benavidez, Shin, Revesh, Barrichello all moved to the... Barrichello coming back now. Is he going to make a move? Pick 1 space back. Again, pushing his man wide. Can't quite get round on the 2nd turn. He has got a nose ahead, and he is in front. Barrichello over Revesh. Can he maintain it? Yes, he can.
Over Shin.
Oh, over Shin, sorry. Then Revesh in front of him. So he is in the middle now. Got a Barrichello sandwich between Revesh and Shin. Nice to see him make a place back, because he lost 5 places at the start, so to have that mental tenacity to pick one back, Barrichello back up to 5th.
Paolo Brezhnik had his own big moment at the exit of the Mobile 1 curve, dipping his wheels into the gravel by the looks of it, but has kept it all pointing in the right direction. So 1.5 seconds covers the top 3 at the start of lap number 3. It is Simonazzi leading Bergmeister, leading Benavidez. Bergmeister, as we said, took his first podium of the season last time out this morning. Only his 4th in the Euroformula Open Championship. Still seeking that first win is the young German, racing on home soil, the boy from Solingen. And we see Benavidez is closing up. Remember, Benavidez has been absolutely unstoppable so far this weekend. Fastest in the free practice sessions, pole position this morning, and race 1 victory. And we're in the rather unusual position if we're having our 2nd race on the Saturday. Normally it's a qualifying and a race on Saturday, and then 2 races, the 2 top 6 reverse grid races on the Sunday. But slight quirk of the schedule here means we've actually got 3 sessions for the Euroformula out today, and then tomorrow we'll have just the 1 race. So this could be a very, very good day indeed for Brad Benavidez if he manages to pull this off. And of course, we have seen in the past before, Noel Leon last year at the Red Bull Ring did manage to come from 6th to take victory. That was a pretty wild encounter at the Red Bull Ring last year. But of course, Benavidez already got most of the hard work done because he's less than a second away from the race lead, and we're just starting lap number 4.
So 2 races going on right now for the top 3, and then 4th down to 6th. Simonazzi, Bergmeister, Benavidez on your screen right now. Behind them by about 4 seconds or so, Revesh, Barrichello and Shin, still in that order. And once again, Simonazzi leads them round. Benavidez waiting for an opportunity. And he's, what, 0.442 behind Bergmeister right now. You'd think with the speed that he showed this morning, he's definitely got it in him. He's just waiting for the right time, the right corner. Is it going to be now? He's getting very close. He's going to whip out. It does move to the inside. Can he make it stick? Oh, yes, he does with absolute ease over Bergmeister. Next up, Simonazzi.
And so Brad Benavidez into 2nd position now, having started in 6th position for the reverse grid race. And now setting after Francesco Simonazzi. Just a little lock up there into turn number 8, but that car looking a lot more compliant than it did this morning. As we mentioned, diff problems aboard that BVM racing car in the earlier race that rather curtailed his speed and probably didn't help in terms of those track limit penalties, of which Simonazzi racked up quite a few, so that would explain why he was breaching track limits so much, and it gave him enough penalties to drop him away from the podium, because it was a very dramatic last lap. Levente Revesh fending off Simonazzi for second place in the earlier race for quite a long time, and then that little mistake coming out of turn 10 that gave Simonazzi the run he needed to take second place on the road, but then of course ended up losing the podium as a result of those track limit time penalties.
Benavides starting to bridge the gap to your leader Simonazzi, and pulled out 0.7 on Bergmeister. Barrichello within half a second of Revesh, who was so competitive this morning, but the front trio trailing the second.
Yeah, it was a personal best last time round for Francesco Simonazzi. We're still not really troubling that lap record pace of Yuki Tsunoda set in 2019, which is a 33.039. Fastest lap in this race so far is a 33.690 set by Brad Benavides. So still a little way to go for that lap record pace. Of course, first time the Dallara 320 has raced here, because the last time we came here in 2019 we were racing with the old chassis and of course Pirelli tyres, which we weren't using last time we came here as well. First time in 5 years the Euroformula Open Championship has come to Hockenheim.
Benavides less than 1 second ahead or behind Simonazzi now. Simonazzi will be fully aware of what's going on behind him. Benavides just getting a little bit bigger with each lap that passes. Still very early stages of this race. Bergmeister 1.1 falling off the pace of Benavides. And then we are 5 back to Revesh, Barrichello and Shin. Barrichello, though, still maintaining 1/2 of a second back from Revesh, which is great to see him so competitive.
There we see another fastest lap of the race done last time around by Brad Benavides, 33.637. That's marginally quicker than his previous best, and the gap down to 3/4 of a second to Simonazzi. Bergmeister starting to lose touch with the top two. And these guys now 5 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. So it's almost like Euroformula Class B at the moment, if you're outside this top 3 battles, such as the pace difference at the moment. I'm sure the early laps where they were squabbling a little bit more didn't help with them rather losing touch with the leaders and losing the toe probably as well, which hasn't helped. So Simonazzi continuing to lead, but that gold and green car is getting ever bigger in his mirrors. Into the stadium section once again. Okay, of course, Simonazzi very experienced with this car now, and combining his championship challenge this year with his studies over in the UK. Software engineering he is studying. I said in Portimao, I couldn't quite remember what it was he was studying, but it was something that was way beyond me, and that's been confirmed now. He's far too intelligent to be a racing driver.
It's a matter of where does Benavides find space. He's done it so many times at the hairpin. It's going to be a little bit trickier when he's trying to do it on Simonazzi. But that's where he's had several looks over already the course of this race and the one this morning, when he had to fight those spaces back after having a suboptimal getaway from podium place. Pole position. Podium's giving it away.
Is that second trainer cars, Levente Revesh, still fending off FIFO Barrichello and Michael Shin. Michael Shin making his debut in the championship this weekend, as we mentioned. That white wingtips number 23 car. There he is, the 19-year-old from Seoul in South Korea. Started his car racing debut a couple of years ago, racing in the UAE F4 and British F4 championships. Race winner in the British Championship at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit, and has also represented South Korea at the FIA Motorsport Games back in 2022 in the F4 Cup. And last year racing in the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship, and then continued to race in the UK as well in GB3, and he made a few appearances in the FIA Formula 3 Championship, and has come over to Euroformula from the Formula Regional Oceania. So he's really been taking off the different Formula Regional championships. He's done the Middle Eastern and the Oceania championships, and I think potentially has plans to race in the Euro Cup 3 this year as well. We see that lead gap still hovering at around 0.7 of a second. We saw Benavides do this in the earlier race, really, didn't we? He was looking at the back of the rest for quite a long time before he made his move. I think he might find Simonazzi slightly tougher picking than in the race one earlier. Of course, we alluded to the diff problems that he had, and Simonazzi was, I think, the only car running on 4 old tyres in the earlier race.
Warning flag for car number 41. That is Barrichello. Track limits, exactly where he had track limits this morning as well in race number 1, turn 1.
That seems to be the hive of activity for track limits infringements so far this weekend. FIFA, one of the youngest drivers in the field. I don't think he is the youngest driver in the field. Only slightly younger than Jakob Bergmeister.
They are all young.
Well, I know they are. I know a lot of the audience will cringe when I say they were both born in 2005, as was Levente Revesh, and he's already celebrated his 19th birthday this year.
Yes, that difference, Simonazzi and Benavides, it's floating anywhere between 0.5 and 0.8, 0.6 right now. Benavides just struggling to find the opportunity that he's been looking for 4 laps now. He's been within half a second of the rear of Simonazzi's car. But he's yet to find the chink in the armour of Francesco. Looks a tiny bit like the old Brawn, doesn't it, there, Simonazzi's 84. Just from a glancing angle,
angles, yeah.
Just a yellow nose cone.
The luminescent yellow there on the front with the white as well. A few more sponsors on Francesco's car than there were on the Brawn, though, I'd say, or a few more stickers in general. But, Simonazzi so well acquainted to that BVM racing team now. He's been with them since the middle of the 2020 Italian F4 season. That's where he made his car racing debut. That was back in 2019, then joined BVM in the middle of the following year and was a big part in bringing BVM racing back to the Euroformula Open at the end of 2021. And at the end of 2022, took his first win in the series, first podiums as well. His first win at Red Bull Ring was as a result of a 5-second time penalty for the car ahead of him, but then at the start of 2023 took his first win on the road in Portimao, and had to wait another year for that feat to be repeated. But if he can hold off Benavides here, then it will be the case once again.
Now, I'm not sure what Michael Shin has been up to, but he's had track limits on turn 1 and report to race control for his team managers as well. We've not seen what's happened there.
I think that's the FIFA Barrichello moment that Michael Shin had done at turn 8, where he made quite an ambitious lunge, and they both ran off the road.
Just to mention Paolo Brajnik as well, not having the best day. 31 seconds behind your leader and 19 seconds behind the man in front of him on track.
This battle for the lead, we're now at half race distance, and this battle for the lead's not letting up, is it? They have just been following each other so closely. Benavides stalking the back of that BVM racing car, but Simonazzi soaking up this pressure wonderfully. But Benavides, championship leader, of course, First repeat winner of the year. We had 3 different winners last time out in Portimao, and the 2 of them are right there. The other one was Lorenzo Fluxer, who might join us later in the campaign, but of course his focus now on the European Le Mans Series LMP2 campaign that he's done. And we have a 2-second time penalty for FIFO Barrichello, and that is for track limit. So that would drop him behind Michael Shin and into 6th position.
Benavides, in fact, yet to be outside the top 2 in any race this year, and likely it's going to remain intact.
And of course, picking up all those kind of bonus points as well for things like fastest lap, pole position as well, and in these reverse grid races for positions gained as well. And those kind of points can often be underestimated in terms of the power they have in the championship. That second tier of cars is starting to spread out a little bit. Ravesh now almost 2 seconds clear of FIFO in 2nd position, and Michael Shin will inherit Barrichello's position, unless Shin comes up with a penalty of his own for that incident at turn 8. We know the stewards were sort of taking a look at that. Brad Benavides doing the fastest middle sector on this lap so far, and closing up a little bit, although lost a little bit of time in the final sector there, so the gap's actually now almost a second. That's the largest it's been for a while.
I think that's the last it's been since probably lap 3, I'd imagine, since he started that chase and got past Bergmeister. And just can't find the few tenths that he needs to get right into that slipstream and actually give it a go. But all credit to Simonazzi, because he's been in his rear-view mirror for the last, what, 15 minutes, and he's not going anywhere.
I think there's an additional penalty that's just come in for Barrichello as well. It's now a 3-second time penalty as well, and if it works the way we saw it work in race 1 as well, that's now a total of 5 seconds that Barrichello's picked up. So he'll definitely be behind Michael Shin, but they are well clear of the Gold Cup driver Paolo Brajnik in 2nd position. This is that lead 5 once again. Benavides did close up once again, 0.2 of a second in the middle sector. That seems to be where his strengths lie, but still he's not able to make an impression on Simonazzi here, who could well be on his way to his 2nd victory of the season and his 4th in the Euroformula Open Championship. As we have just started lap number 13, 6 to go.
Benavides picked up 0.5 of a second on sector 3. However, we are beyond 1 second now, because it was a slower lap in total. 1:33.9 against a 1:34.1. Just a glimpse of Brajnik down sadly in a lowly 7th, and now 38 seconds off your leader. Hopefully he can do something overnight to improve the form of that vehicle.
Gold Cup drivers, or Gold Cup class, I should say, for drivers over the age of 35. And the former Superbike champion still running out there after the disappointment of his car not getting going this morning. So, Benavides still looking at the back of Simonazzi's car. And last year was racing in the FIA Formula 2 Championship. He's the 22-year-old Floridian. Brajnik has the honours of being the oldest driver on the grid, but Benavides, of the non-Gold Cup drivers, is the oldest one out there. Most of the drivers still in their teens, but Simonazzi is the other one. And now, Michael Shin has picked up a 3-second time penalty for forcing FIFO Barrichello off the track.
So Barrichello's got a 5-second penalty. Shin's got 3. So that would still put Barrichello at the moment behind Shin, but not by as much as it was.
It's essentially just a 2-second penalty now for Barrichello, if you want to look at it that way.
So Simonazzi just doing everything that is required of him right now, knocking out the lap times, pretty much bang on the high 33s and the low 34s every single time, and not giving Benavides any chance whatsoever. Solid performance thus far, and there are 5 laps for him to continue to do the same.
And listen to the sound of that Spice engine being unleashed on the Hockenheim circuit, and oh dear, Paolo Brajnic's got a 2-second time penalty as well. That's not going to make too much difference, I think, to the result in the end, but yeah. Oh, a little lock up there for Brad Benavides, coming into the Sachs curve, not doing that Pirelli rubber any favours. And it is great to see the Dallara 320 out this Hockenheim circuit for the first time. Of course, the 240 brake horsepower Spice engine pulling them along as well, but the chassis really is what makes Euroformula Championship a great car to drive. And you see anybody who tests this car absolutely adores it. A light, nimble Dallara chassis that is proven to be the world leader in chassis design for the lower single-seater series. And, well, even in the top classes now, with them partnering top manufacturers in the world of sports car and prototype racing as well now. But in this championship just provides a great car for wheel-to-wheel racing, but also just for driving as well, and is great preparation for the FIA Formula 3 Championship as well, when you consider some of the drivers who came over from the Formula Regional Championship to the Euroformula Open towards the end of last year, just to get that Dallara experience and get some laps in the chassis so that they were better prepared for the move up to FIA Formula 3. Oh, that was a big swapper for Simonazzi. That's the most uncontrolled he's looked at in the lead of the race so far.
We are entering the final 3. Now, what's going through Benavides' head, other than patience and maybe frustration? He's done everything he can, but so has Simonazzi, been absolutely matched lap for lap. It's just gone above 1 second for the second time in this race. It's sat between 0.5 and 0.9 pretty much for the entirety of it. So, last 3 laps, what can Benavides do?
Well, Benavides at the moment will be taking home the fastest lap bonus points in this one, and would be taking home the 2 bonus points for positions gained as well. So even though he's losing points to Simonazzi at the moment, if he finishes in 2nd place, it'll be an absolutely minimal difference between the points they actually take home from this race. Jakob Bergmeister looking very at home in a podium position here, the young German. Now seconds out, round 2 here between Michael Shin and Fifo Barrichello. It's closed right up, Shin to the inside. Now he doesn't have to make this move here on Barrichello, because even though they both have time penalties, Shin's got 2 seconds less of time penalties than Barrichello, so we could just sit behind the Brazilian if he wanted to, but we'd rather get the move done on track, and he doesn't have to, because Barrichello goes well wide on the exit of turn number 11, and well, yields the place anyway.
Gives it away, almost like he hit a speed bump coming back onto track. That will have hurt his rear slightly, but they are away, and he's actually not lost too much time, considering he spent a little bit of time in the air there, coming around the stadium section. They're not going to have enough time to catch the man in front of them, though, who Levent Ravesh. He's got a good 2.5 seconds on those. So we'll go back to the front shortly, because we are approaching our final lap. They're not quite coming around. Just watching.
There we can see that moment again from Barrichello. Runs it a bit wide. through the gravel, and then take off.
Bang! Ouch.
Yeah, it's got wings on it, but it's not a plane. We see it from another angle here. We'll just be skipping through the gravel. Oh.
It's that one there, just come back onto the track.
Didn't look as bad from that angle, did it? It's definitely the front angle that made it look a bit more dramatic. And now here's Paolo Brajnik. It is good to see the Serbian racer back out in the Euroformula. Well, Serbian racer, Italian, but racing with a Serbian license. And of course, we've alluded to the fact that he is a Superbike champion. He's champion in the Italian Super Twin Championship and the European Superbike Championship as well. So Francesco Simonazzi about to start the final lap, and the gap is as large as it has been for quite some time. 1.5 seconds almost is Simonazzi's advantage now going on to this last lap. The Italian is on course for his 4th victory in the Euroformula Open Championship.
Yeah, you can see they picked up 0.2 of a second for the last 3 laps in succession, and that, barring a disaster, should probably be it now. He picked up 0.2 already on this lap alone. It's 1.6 the gap. I think Benavides might just be sitting back now. The game is run. So Simonazzi ahead of Benavides. Bergmeister, well, he's been out just on a race of his entirety on his own this afternoon. Always been 4 seconds back and 4 seconds ahead between 2nd and 4th. But Simonazzi on his final lap in the car 84. And he will pick up his first win of the day. Of course, got one more race tomorrow. As Chris has mentioned, a rarity having 2 races on the Saturday, but it's a beautiful evening. The sun not quite going down yet, but it has been a wonderful race for Simonazzi. He's done everything asked of him, everything Benavides through, maintained his composure, and he's going to drive this all the way home.
Oh, there's a little swapper there at the Sachs curve there, but Simonazzi gathers it up. He's looked absolutely in command of this one since leading it from pole position. And Francesco Simonazzi for BVM Racing exits the final corner and takes his 2nd victory of the season in the Euroformula Open Championship, his 4th during his time in the championship. Benavides, his run of form comes to an end as he has to settle for 2nd, and Jakob Bergmeister, back-to-back podium finishes for the German on home soil. Simonazzi, the thumbs up there to Brad Benavides. It wasn't exactly a super intense wheel-to-wheel battle, but it was a punch and counter-punch in terms of the lap times, and Simonazzi could not give Benavides any kind of an opportunity to take that one away from him, and he didn't. New tyres and resolving those diff issues certainly helping Francesco to that win. But we know that Simonazzi is also a very rapid racer, very experienced in the Euroformula as well. And that is a great result for the Italian. And Benavides continues his podium form. Will still lead the championship, of course. He hasn't finished outside the top 2 all season long. Bergmeister didn't score a podium at all in Barcelona, in Portimao, I should say, but has taken 2 here on home soil. Here's the results then from race 2. Francesco Simonazzi's 2nd victory of the season. Brad Benavides has to settle for 2nd after dominating the weekend so far. Back-to-back podiums for Jakob Bergmeister, Levente Revesh and Michael Shin ahead of FIFO Barrichello. And that has reduced Brad Benavides' championship advantage to just 23 points. So even though Simonazzi's won that race, he's only taken 2 points away from Benavides, as Benavides took away the fastest lap point and the positions gained 2 bonus points there as well. And we talk about the importance of those bonus points. You get them for pole position as well, which of course he picked up earlier, did Benavides, but that's the importance of it right there.
Yeah, lovely way to bring the day to a close. And probably, like you said, not the most action-packed race, but that is due to professional, solid driving. Simonazzi, we've said it a couple of times, he did everything asked of him. Benavides, for 14 laps, was between 0.5 and 0.8 of a second, but Simonazzi was only looking in one direction, and that was forward.
Certainly true. Simonazzi parks up in the centre spot. And what's great, he had to wait a year for his third Euroformula race victory. Well, he's only had to wait 2 weeks for his fourth. I'm sure he could get used to this feeling. Yeah. Francesco Simonazzi out of the car. We haven't seen the familiar hand heart from Simonazzi so far this weekend. Oh, we get the #1 finger instead. He celebrates with the BVM Racing team, Giuseppe Mazzotti as well, the team boss. Bergmeister, good day for him, 2 podium finishes. Fernando Barrichello.
Looking glum.
Yeah, 6th position again after that penalty. And Francesco, ever popular, ever affable, and effervescent.
I like that.
Italian. He's a very popular man when he does well, and rightly so. And hopefully he'll continue to move up the racing ladder, whether that continues to be in single-seaters or in GTs. Big sigh of relief from Francesco. There's the hand heart. Good man. So, top 3 from race #2. It's Jakob Bergmeister with a 2nd podium finish of the weekend for Team Motorpark on his home race. 2nd place, Brad Benavides still hasn't finished outside the top 2, but his run of winning and topping every session so far this weekend comes to an end. Has been ended by that man, Francesco Simonazzi, taking his 4th victory in the Euroformula Open Championship. BVM Racing is 2nd of the season, and he's downstairs with Alfredo.
Simonazzi, winner of race 2. Yeah, it's race 2, it's Saturday, but it's race 2 in Hockenheim on a very warm day. Nice track, everything went well.
Yeah, I mean, it has been similar to Portimao. I had a really good start. I managed to get a bit of space from the second, I think it was Bergmeister. And I was struggling a bit in the first sector, where Benavides was catching me. And then, I don't know what I was doing in the second and third sector. I always managed to get a little bit more space so he wouldn't get the speed on the second sector to get me. It was exhausting. I felt very tired, somewhere around 6 laps to the finish. I was struggling. I think everybody was struggling too, because it's a very hard day and it's a very hard circuit to drive, but it feels quite good.
And then it means it's a nice victory.
Yes, it's a super nice victory. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching me, all my fans, all my friends, and my girlfriend from home, and all of my family supporting me here, and mechanics. They did a really good job.
Well done, bravo, podium now.
Let's take a look back at how Francesco Simonazzi took victory. Remember, he was on pole position, the reverse grid race, and FIFA Barrichello not getting the best launch off the line. He was immediately done around the outside by Jakob Bergmeister. And then Michael Shin tried to get around the Brazilian. He ended up on the grass, and that was just the first moment of many between these two drivers. So went side by side through turns 2, 3, and 4. And then there was already a wide moment at turn 6, and then the lunge here from Michael Shin ran both of them off the circuit. That was a free ticket for Brad Benavides to get himself up into 3rd position, and for Ravesh to get himself up into 5th. Benavides on the inside of Bergmeister to take 2nd place away from the young German. FIFA Barrichello had a bit of a moment here at turn 11, getting over the bumps, and I'm sure I'll fill that one in the back tomorrow. But no one could stop Francesco Simonazzi, try as Brad Benavides might. And Simonazzi took victory in race number 2 here in Hockenheim. The Italian back on the top step of the podium 2 weeks after his victory in Portimao. Yeah, happy with the car's performance. And now onto the podium. Jakob Bergmeister for the second time today making his appearance on the podium. In fact, it is different drivers this time. Still Benavides, still Bergmeister, but no Revesh this time. Of course, Simonazzi was second on the road, wasn't he, in race 1? So it would have been the case there. But yes, those track limits penalties ended up working in his favour with the reverse grid pole there. But Bergmeister on the left at FIFO Barrichello joins him on the far left as well. The BVM Racing representative on the right there as well. And it's the Italian national anthem. Everyone's favourite national anthem there. It's the trophies, the Pirelli representative, giving the third place trophy to Jakob Bergmeister, another one for the collection, his 5th podium in the Euroformula Open Championship. Brad Benavides, that trophy collection starting to get quite big indeed since joining the Euroformula Open Championship this year. The race-winning trophy for Francesco Simonazzi, the 4th one that he collects from the Euroformula Open Championship. His 2nd of the season, the BVM Racing representative taking the team's trophy there as well. And of course the rookie trophy for Fernando Barrichello. And then the Gold Cup trophy for Paolo Brajnik as well. There'll be the traditional photo. And then at last, Francesco can open up the champagne and celebrate that victory. Oh, no one wants to celebrate with him. Oh, Brad will celebrate with him. Good on you, Brad. Building up to it, there he goes. And Simonazzi deserves to celebrate that one. Fantastic win for the Italian. We are back racing for the final race of the weekend tomorrow at 11:45 in the morning. We will see you then.
Thank you so much.